For those who are looking for more reasons to hate the Nazis, Warwick Davis and the Seven Dwarves of Auschwitz is a very interesting documentary about the treatment of dwarves during the Nazi regime. The Nazis would round up dwarves, send them to death camps to be murdered. That's the main gist of it, and you can watch this documentary on either Amazon Prime or YouTube. It was very compelling. Like, it's very well made documentary. I completely recommend people such as Natalie and Sammy and Andy to watch it. And many of the dwarves that they reference in this documentary were entertainers. So these were singing and dancing dwarves that the Nazis put into death camps. So think about it this way. If you like Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, the Nazis want to take that away from you. So I strongly recommend people going to YouTube or Amazon Prime and watching this documentary. It just goes to show that, like, it wasn't just the J Crew that the Nazis were against. Almost anyone, for any reason, could have been put into those death camps. And they did start with people, let's say, what would be perceived as a disability. It did start with people with disabilities in the 30s, in 1934. And people like the little people were easily targeted because they're little. They're quite easy to overpower. So I recommend watching that. And the reason, that moves us on to the next topic, which is the Reproductive Rights Bill of 2006. This bill is going to be eliminating travel for abortions, so women don't need to go to the UK regarding cases of fetal abnormalities. It's a bit of a smokescreen. And most importantly, it's going to be removing the 3-day waiting period, where if it's under, say, 12 weeks, however you want to call it, the unborn child, I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to use the correct terminology, the unborn, I'll call it. If it's under 12 weeks, you have to wait for 3 days before carrying out the procedure. This bill will remove that completely. So who's for and who is against this bill? Yeah, as Natalie's pointing out, twins were also targeted by the Nazis, by Karl Menger. Yeah. So this bill is mostly being proposed by the Social Democrats. Holly Kearns is at it again. It's got support from People for Profit and Sinn Féin, and it's being opposed by Ain Tú and Independent Ireland. Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil are allowing a free vote among their TDs, with some ministers such as Helen McEntee enthusiastically supporting this bill, but a lot of Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil backbenchers are getting upset about this. The so-called Conservative parties, meant to be centre-right, and here they are pushing to take away more regulations on abortion. Now, my position is that I'm a happy fence-sitter regards abortion. My job is just to report, right? It's just to report on debate between pro-life and pro-choice people. Social Democrats representing the pro-choice narrative want complete my body, my choice, and women just have abortions whenever they feel like it. And whereas, let's say, the moderate pro-lifers want some medical regulations on what is a medical procedure to make sense, right? Anything medical should be regulated. That would be my opinion. So, and how the abortion conversation relates back to what we're saying about dwarves and people with disabilities is that not only do the Nazis want to get rid of people with disabilities, that often pro-life people point out that if you have absolutely no restrictions on abortion whatsoever, people with abnormalities or disabilities such as those with Down syndrome, like it's like 95% of them will be terminated, which is quite grim, right? Some people would say, oh well, let's get rid of people with disabilities from the gene pool and we'll have less difficulties. But pro-life people would say, well, that's quite Nazi-like, and I really, really don't like the Nazis or anything Nazi-like. So, from my perspective, I would oppose this bill. I mean, why not have a 3-day waiting period? I mean, I'm actually not an expert on abortion regulations. Like I said, I'll just listen to everybody else. What I like about freedom and democracy is that, when it comes to difficult issues like this, it should be freely discussed. What I expect from the state-funded media is that there should be a balanced view. You have pro-life and pro-choice people being legally equal to each other, then you discuss it, and then the population just votes on it. That's how I'd like to see all abortion issues be done. Every few years, we either increase or decrease the regulations depending on whatever new information that we have. Because I think most Irish people are pragmatic as opposed to being very strict, right? This, my body, my choice. I say this all the time. It's like, well, where's my body? Where's my choice? I oppose carbon taxes, and a government supporter bashed my head against the ground, and I went into hospital. So we literally don't have my body, my choice if we're not even allowed oppose government policies without being physically attacked. So that's my reporting on that issue. Let's just start this poll at the start. But what do people in the chat say, or people on TikTok? It's my first time launching a poll. The poll is, do you support the Reproductive Rights Bill 2006? Top means yes, you do. Neil being, no, you don't. I put it in Irish because in Irish legislation, the options are always taught in Neil, right? I'm a happy fence sitter on abortion, but when it comes to legislation, your only choices are taught in Neil. And I personally will be supporting this bill, not supporting this bill. What am I saying? I'd be against this bill on the grounds is no, we don't have full body autonomy. We don't. There's lots of things that are regulated and we can't do. So, let's say if there was two legal choices that we could base our laws on. Okay? One would be my body, my choice. That would be a very easy way to regulate things. Cool, it's my body, it's my choice. Easy peasy. And then the other option is to just be strictly pro-life. Whatever causes death is bad, and whatever promotes life is good. I think both those opinions are legally valid. I think they're both sound principles to have to base the Constitution on. Except for, at the moment, Irish politics doesn't always promote life. At the moment, the media is constantly promoting an Islamic death cult, and we don't have choice. We don't have choice in the matter. There is no political form or movement for us to join if you oppose terrorism. And I care more about the terrorist issue than I do care about the abortion issue. I don't really I wouldn't refer to myself as pro-life. I refer to myself as a happy little fence sitter. Sometimes people saying my body, my choice suits my agenda, and sometimes people saying everybody's lives matter suits my agenda. I'd like both to be true at the same time, and I don't have a final solution regarding the abortion issue, but I think realistically we're going to be stuck with forever ping pong backwards and forwards, tightening and loosening the laws depending on what people want. So 2 more minutes left in the poll. Maybe I should have left it to be 5 minutes long, or I should have started at the start of the segment. But yeah, it just when we're talking about abortion, as I said, like, it is really hard to ignore the fact that people with disabilities or abnormalities will be thrown on the bus. So, like, this claim that women need to travel to terminate a pregnancy in case of a fetal abnormality, I would require people with medical expertise to research and comment this issue for me, and then they debate it among themselves, and then I pick which one sounds the best to me. That's how I would like abortion to be discussed, particularly when it comes to those kind of like finicky rules, like how many women are traveling to the UK for abortions. Like, how is that any way different to Irish people traveling abroad for medical procedures anyway, like dentistry, right? Like, how's that any different? Like, if these pro-choice politicians really care about the fact that women are going abroad for these procedures, and fetal abnormalities are less controversial than to say just aborting someone because they're a dwarf or they've got Down syndrome, like, why don't you care about the rest of the healthcare system? Like, Ukrainians fly back to Ukraine where there's a war on to get better healthcare than waiting in line in Ireland, because it's faster and cheaper to fly over to Ukraine than it is to wait in hospital in Ireland. Like, is that really a major issue? Or if some medical researchers tell me it is a major issue, then I'll go, okay, well, maybe that element of the bill has some merit. But I think, since the only people that I hear talking about wanting to remove a mandatory waiting period are not medical experts and not scientists, it's mostly artsy people, I'd be inclined to vote no against this. And did I watch the debate? I saw clips of the debate. Carolyn Nolan is an impressive woman. I like, again, like, on these kind of issues, I tend to actually sit back and listen to what women are saying more than anyone else. Like, you're not going to have me standing up at a pro-life or pro-choice thing and making a speech. I tend to, at issues like this, it's like, yeah, well, I weigh 2 people's opinions heavily the most. One is women's, and the second would be medical experts. Or medical experts first, then women's, I guess, to be correct. So, yeah, it looks like to me that this bill isn't really interesting too many people in the public, and it could just be that the extreme pro-choice people are pushing this, and only people from the pro-life campaign are opposing it, which is really odd. But there you go, and there you have it. Hopefully this video has informed you on the issue. God bless and Godspeed.